That took entirely too long.
$1,000, and that $1,000 is a $1,000 check. So if you have a small account, it really limits the amount that you can trade because you continually have to wait for trades to settle. You can't buy a stock for $10,000 and then sell it the same day and go buy another stock for $10,000. Your money's going to be completely tied up in that position, now for the next 3 days. So margin accounts are the solution to that problem. A margin account requires a margin agreement, and what it means is that your broker is basically giving you a line of credit. So they're saying, look, you know what, this is going to take 3 days to settle, but don't worry, I know you're good for it. I'm going to go ahead and let you keep trading. So you take the trade for $10,000, you sell it. That trade has to wait 3 days to settle, but you can go ahead and buy another trade for $10,000. In fact, you can do it 10 times. When you have a margin account, you fall under the PDT rules. So the PDT more, but trade, and a margin the for in trade with. If you put in $50,000, you have $200,000 full money, lose money risk. FINRA and the SEC have created the pattern day trader rule, and this is a way of flagging different types of traders. And if you are considered a day trader, a pattern day trader, you will be required to maintain a minimum account balance of $25,000. All right. So the PDT rule says that if you trade more than 3 times in a 5-day period, then you are going to be flagged as a pattern day trader. So a broker needs to flag you as a pattern day trader, and they need to make sure all accounts flagged as being pattern day traders maintain a minimum of a $25,000 balance. Now, this is obviously going to be hard for a lot of traders, but if you have less than $25,000 in your account, you are limited to 3 day trades every 5 days. And that's just the rule. It's black and white if you're using a margin account. If you're using a cash account, you could day trade more, but you would have to wait 3 days for every trade to settle. Alternatively, you could trade options which settle overnight. So some traders with small accounts in the $5,000 to $10,000 range will either swing trade, and when I did that, I took next day it goes to $18, and let's just scale this a little bit. The next day it goes to 24, and then it goes to 32, and then it goes.
All right, welcome to the video. This is trading for beginners, or trading for dummies, as the thumbnail says. It's for me years. Other expectations that are unclear, such as what does it involve? What do I need? Am I the right fit for it? So I want to cover some of that stuff off. And this is really important because I want to show you a way to understand how long it's going to take you, how to know how much money you're going to need, okay? And that's really going to be motivating for you, because when you see the truth about this stuff, you can actually forget about it and put it to the side, and it will give you the motivation to focus on the actual learning. If you're trying to do it in a way where you're really pressurized to make money right now, or you're really pressurized to make it work, it's going to have an effect on your mental state. In fact, there was a survey done in southern India where they tested 56 cities in southern India, and they tested the farmers' IQs. And when there was a drought and there was no no trade and no market, and it was all low economy, you know, the economy wasn't very great, their IQ dropped by 30 points. And when it raised and it was booming and trade was great, their IQ raised by 30 points, which means this: when you're in a level of poverty, okay, meaning that you can't quite afford your own personal comforts, your IQ drops. Now, the thing with trading, you're going to need to be switched on as you're learning. You're going to need to be full focus as you're learning to trade. If you've got something eating away at your animal brain, telling you, oh, we can't afford to pay the bills this month, then that's not going to be the best position for you to learn to trade. But by knowing these numbers is going to either give you the chance to go, wow, you know, I can definitely do this, or you're going to go, well, maybe I'll come back to this later. So it's really important you understand this stuff. So the first really important thing you want to know is, how much money do I need to get to where I need to be in my trading? Like, what's going to make it worth it? And the first answer to that is, trading is one of the most powerful ways to accelerate your wealth if you can be consistently profitable, because the returns that you get on trading, as it's high speculation, the returns are greater. The more you use your skill to grow your money, the greater the returns. So the question is, well, if you're going to put it in a bank, you know, the bank are going to pay you 1% a year if you're lucky, probably 0.2% at the moment. So then it comes down to, well, do I actually want to trade? Do I actually want to learn to trade? So my first piece of advice is, you're going to have to want to trade. Like, you're going to have to have an interest in it. You're going to have to really enjoy looking at the markets, because if you don't, it's probably not going to be worth it for you. And the reason I say that is because you can go and get better returns focusing on something you really enjoy and love, and then or give your money to someone else to look after, than you go and have to learn something that you really don't want to learn to then grow your money, right? So that's the first consideration, is, if I put it in a bank, I'm going to get nothing. If I learn to trade, I'm going to get great returns if I can master this, right? So that then comes down to, do I actually want to learn to trade? But the first starting point I like to tell people is, think of a figure that you need to cover with your trading returns. So it might be your full income. You know, if you're earning 2,000, 2,500, 5,000 a month, or whatever that figure might be, write that figure down, whatever that might be. So you might want to cover your whole income, your monthly income, which might be £2,500, or you might just want to like bring in an additional £500 a month or something like that, right? So we'll go with that example for now. We'll just say 500, could be dollars, pounds, whatever. And what you're going to do, just to kind of get some idea of what sort of returns you will get, or how you can start to approximate that figure, is we can play around with some figures. So all we need to do is take that figure, whatever that figure is, and next to that I'm going to write 2%, 4%, 6%, okay? And all you do is you divide this figure by 0.02 or 0.04 or 0.06. And what that
I'm putting dollar signs next to this shit, bro. I'm cooked. I'm chopped. I'm putting dollar signs next to the 2%, 4%, 6% instead of the percent sign. I'm chopped. So I'm guessing this is just the math of it. Like, if something is 4% of something, it's 10.04. Oh no, nigga, that's not 10. It's a slash. Break.
It's going to give us is some returns, some monthly returns. So if I divide 500 by 2%, I'm going to get 25,000. If I divide 500 by 4%, I'm going to get 12,500. If I divide it by 6%, I'm going to get 8,333. What does that mean? What does this figure mean? Well, this is the amount that you would need in your account if you were trading it and getting 2% returns per month based on 500, and you was trading, 25 grand a month and you was getting 2% per month, that would generate £500 or dollars. If you had a 12.5 grand account and you was getting 4% returns consistently per month on average over a long period of time, that would give you 500 a month. Same goes for 6%. If you was trading £8,333 in your account and you was doing 6% on average over a long period of time, that would approximate £500 or dollars per month. Make sense? So have a play around with some figures and put them against some percentages so that you can start to see, right, okay, I don't need millions in my account to generate what I need. Actually, I need this much or this much, and I need this percentage return. Now, you're not going to know your
That was for 500. Let's do 4 grand. What the fuck? Bro, what? This is how much they want you to have. Okay. 4%. Oh yeah, I'm cooked. I'm overly cooked.
percentage return right now. On average that I see, the best traders get between 2 and 6%. It varies. And I've worked with prop firm owners and prop firm 7-figure traders on prop desks, and I've seen them get anything from 2% to 6%. And yes, there's going to be times where you're getting 10%, you might even get a 20% month. But the point is this: you need to focus on returns over a long period of time. And I'll talk about that later on in the program. Now, the
Damn, I didn't mean to do that. So he did 500. Yeah, what about an extra 150? Oh my goodness. It's getting better, but what about just $100 then? You gotta start small, man. Might even put 50 bucks on here. It's 5 grand. 100. 4 is 2,500. And it's in that 6% is 1,600. Okay. I think I'm gonna play it safe. Oh my goodness. Bruh, nigga, what the fuck?
Other thing to pay attention to here is there's going to be other influences like inflation, like your lifestyle costs, you know, your performance, all this kind of stuff getting better as a trader. So it's a good place to start, but you're also going to want to factor in, you're going to want to leave some money in the trading account so that you can grow it and have that compounding interest in the account as well, right? So there's a few other factors that will play into this, but this is a great place to start if you're a beginner to visualize how much you'll need to generate a certain return. And really the purpose of this exercise is linking the relationship between the two. Now this brings me on to the next point, which is time. How long will it take me to learn to trade? Now I can tell you this, usually
I would think it takes you just about as long as it took you to what's the word? What would the word be? Hold on, this is some good shit. No, hold